Hey, what's up guys? Quick video on crystals. Wearing a couple right here and I got a few necklaces, but I don't know a lot about healing crystals, however, and healing stones. However, a few years ago, my sister got me a rose quartz, this really cool necklace, and she was telling me, she got me a bracelet too, like a multicolored, multi-chakra bracelet, and she was telling me, Mike, I know you're into spirituality, this is kind of a cool thing. These are healing crystals, they're supposed to have a positive effect on the body, and they're really popular. But I didn't really take it too seriously. I was like, okay, cool, that's cool, that's supposed to do that, but I appreciate it. However, I did find them, really beautiful, and it was cool. Like, to me, it was more like of a lucky charm sort of thing, and maybe there's some placebo effects, when I was wearing them or whatever, but I didn't think about it much. And when I went to see a healer, I got a chakra cleanse, and basically that's what that means. That sounds kind of foo-foo, or I don't know what the word they use, but it's basically assisted meditation with someone who has the ability to help feel through some of your emotions. And when I went through that process, they were using crystals to help stimulate different parts of my body, and it worked. And at that point I realized, okay, there is something more with these crystals, because I just had this really physical experience, and this person took on some of my emotions, and I felt the whole process, and I felt the release. And through this process, crystals were used as a tool to make that happen. So I remember asking the woman there, I said, what stone would be helpful for me? And she said, here, take this. You want to get a tiger's eye or something? I believe it was tiger's eye. It's like kind of a yellow black stone. It's really beautiful. So I ended up buying that, and then I started really getting into them. So I started buying, I started getting a lot of different kinds and stuff, and I was like, oh, what does this one do? It helps you talk better. What does this one do? It helps you feel more grounded or have more self-love and this and that. So it was fun. And then at one point I completely just was like, okay, it's not that I'm not interested, it's like I'm more interested in not being dependent on anything. So I kind of moved away from crystals for a few years, and recently, I don't know what it was, maybe it was just a few months ago, some of my friends were wearing crystals, and I noticed a bunch of people wearing them, and it got me thinking again, you know what, I've been away from them for some time. Also, you know what it was? It's 5G network coming into Chicago. I've heard talk of this for years, but 5G it's fast internet, very fast internet, but there's not a lot of studies being done on 5G, and a lot of people are freaked out because the kind of waves that it gives off, from what I understand, and again, I don't know if this is proven yet, but they are said to be, they've been used in the military for years. 5G's been used in the military to separate crowds, so it can be used for negative things. I'm not thinking in terms of government conspiracy, but I'm thinking in terms of, this is not necessarily good for the body. So from what I understand, they said, I was watching different videos, and they were saying, wearing crystals like this, pretty much all crystals, but Shungite, Tourmaline, I don't even know how to pronounce that one, it's T-R, doesn't matter, I'll put it down below. But different crystals like this, and all crystals, help block out some of those waves. And we can't see them, but we know they exist, because we need to use them to use the internet. Microwaves, we don't see them, but they exist. These different waves. The color spectrum is all based on waves. Red is a different wave than violet. So then I started getting back into crystals because of that. Because I live in the city, right in the middle of the city, and it just makes me feel more comfortable if I'm wearing something that is apparently protecting me from something like the 5G that is potentially affecting my body. So again, you guys have to do your own research on that. It is true, and it is absolutely true, that 5G has been used in the military for years to separate crowds, and that's like the main reason. I know it's been used. But other than all of those reasons, I just mentioned the 5G and the, the using it for healing before, that each crystal basically is supposed to have its own different property. And my mom bought me like this encyclopedia on crystals, and it talks about, what each crystal does, like how it's used, how different crystals can be used for, different ailments. If you look up sleep in this book, and I'll put it down below too if you're interested in getting it. It's cute, and it's nice. It looks good on a coffee table. But you go through it, and if you look up sleep, it'll say, oh, if you're having trouble sleeping, we suggest these crystals, and especially this one. Or if you want more energy, or something related to your sex drive or something. There's a crystal oriented to that specific frequency. So if that makes sense, because all things radiate at a specific frequency, even if you can't see it. Like I said, different colors radiate at different I don't know if that's the right term, but they have different frequencies. So that's why when you see the color red, it has a different effect on you than the color blue, because part of that, it's not just the visual effect of the color, it's the visual, we recognize it through our vision, but the actual color has a frequency that affects us in a certain way. So passion, red passion, that energy, can be the same energy that is like hate or urgency. So there are two sides to the same energy. There's two sides to the same coin. You can be blue, can be more relaxed and chill, but it could also be depressing, depending on how that energy is oriented. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. I found that interesting. So cool beans, guys. Peace. Have a good one.